I'm Megan and I'm a baby wearing educator. The video I'm going to make today focuses on using a Fidella Meh Dai. If you go online to buy one, you might see it referenced as a Fidella FlyTai. Because of cultural appropriation, I try and use the appropriate terms, so Meh Dai or Baby Dai, and that's how I'm going to refer to it in this video. So I was asked to make a video related to the different types of Meh Dais on the market because since they are inspired by Asian carriers, they have a lot of changes or Americanized features or Europeanized or Westernized, however you want to call it. There didn't exist back in the day a bright blue with arrows all over it carrier. So this is sort of an interpretation off of how a carrier used to work that has been updated, modernized, westernized, whatever's going to be the appropriate word. So with the Fidella, it actually has a padded waist. And so it can be worn either apron style like this or upright like a soft structure carrier. Because of where the safety tags are on it, I like to wear it upright. So I'm going to put the safety tags against my belly and against my waist over here and tie a double knot. All right, the next feature on the Fidella is it has hybrid straps. So its straps have both a padded section, kind of like a soft structure carrier, as well as a wrap section to the side. And when you get down about 18 inches, then it becomes just wrap. So what it ends up doing is allowing you to have a padded shoulder, a wrap strap to help distribute the weight, and then as soon as it comes onto your back, the padding goes away and it's just wraps so that you can distribute the weight in a wide pattern across your back and again spread it across your baby's front, which if you have a child who's leaning or who's heavy, it can give you more support. It'll work the same way as an unpadded Meh Dai, and it'll work in a very similar manner to a Baby Hawk or Moby Meh Dai, the carrier that has a slimmer strap. So you can choose to use it just like this, bunched up, so it's just basically a slim padded strap. Put it over your shoulder, bunch, pull down, cross over, tie, or cross over under and go behind you. You can see it's just kind of skinny straps. Or you can choose to use that wrap strap feature. And when you put it over your shoulders, you'll end up spreading this out. And for me, what I find really important here is that I tighten with each section. So this here at the top, this top seam closest to my neck, this is going to be my top rail. And this one down at the end of my shoulder, closer to my elbow, is going to be my bottom rail. And I'm going to want to tighten through these different sections because otherwise, if I just tighten it as one clump, you'll notice that it doesn't really stay tight across my arm. I've got some wiggle room. When I tighten it little bit by little bit though, I can customize that fit to really fit my body. So I'm gonna put my baby doll in here so that I have something to hold. Keep in mind you wanna keep a hand on your baby at all times, but I just wanna talk about the carrier itself today. So when I use the Fidella with the bunch straps, the wrap part just tucks underneath nicely. You can see, ta-da, easy peasies. And then I would continue using it in this wrap strap, all bunched up form. But if I want to spread my wrap strap, I'm going to want to tighten little bit by little bit, sort of top rail, middle rail, bottom rail. And so right now I have it all spread out, and you'll notice I'm going to reach back here, and I'm going to tighten my top rail. And as I do this, I like to roll my shoulder a little bit. I just find that helps get any slack out. This one's now tight. I'm going to hold it in my hand. And then I'm going to do the same over here with my middle or my bottom. And what you'll notice here is I have slack that I caught out of my bottom rail. That's different than my top rail. You can see this little difference here. But that allowed me to get this nice and snug on my shoulder. It also will allow it to come nice and wide across my back. But your body isn't a rectangle, it's got shapes and curves, and so by tightening with each rail, by tightening the top and the bottom separately, you end up getting a better fit. So let me put my baby up real quick, and I'm going to tighten this, not focusing on those top and bottom rails. I'm just gonna do the whole thing. You can end up here, but with the Fidella, I have really long shoulder straps, so I'm gonna end up crossing and coming underneath my baby's butt. And then I'm just going to talk about spreading and my passes a little bit and why tightening rail by rail is so important. So if I just did that real quick, all right, I'm gonna now spread out this pass, spread out this shoulder as well. I'm doing it after the fact. All right, this one's on the bottom, so I'm gonna focus on him first. Come down here, kind of spread it out. Spread it over my baby's butt. That's awesome. But as you look as I go, I'm gonna tuck this hood in here. See, I got a lot of slack right here. Got a lot of slack down here now. See how I found that though? By pulling on this rail, then pulling on this rail. So for me to get a really good fit with a Meh Dai that has wrap straps, whether hybrid with padding or no padding, it's really important for me that I actually tighten it rail by rail, piece by piece. So I'm gonna come back here and I'm not just gonna grab the whole thing and pull, I'm gonna pull my bottom, I'm gonna pull my top rail, pull my shoulder a little bit. It's the shoulder you can't see in that video. So now I've got all this extra slack here. So this is why I like to tighten in a really specific manner, because this isn't gonna be as supportive on my baby. Okay. So now really, if you're gonna use this as a carrier from an educational point, I'm going to, on the Fidella, adjust the panel with these little cinches. And what I can do here is I can tighten and cinch up at the waist, the sides, and at the top, up here. What's great about this is I can make my panel shrink to fit my baby and grow to fit my baby. One thing I do always caution people about is if you cinch on the bottom as tight as you possibly can, you get a bunch of fabric that's kind of all bunched up because you're cinching the width. This panel is still as big as it is. And so you end up with kind of an awkward pocket that baby sinks into. So I kind of like the cinch for small adjustments, but I don't like the cinch to try and make a toddler size carrier fit a newborn baby. Like that's just not a practical fit for these built-in cinches. You can kind of see what I mean about pocket of fabric right here. This is the fabric. It doesn't matter how much I cinch, that pocket there is always gonna be there. So I need my baby to at least be big enough to fit my panel and take up that little pocket space. If my baby's really little, I'm gonna kind of lose her in the pocket and she's gonna end up not being high enough. So Sally, my demo doll, is about 3 months. She's got kind of extra long limbs because she fits a toddler Tula, or a standard Tula. So with her butt in that panel, she's okay, she's big enough. If I were to put an infant in here, it'd be a little tight. Okay, so how do I actually use a Meh Dai with a little baby, or a 3-month-old baby here? I'm gonna tuck my hood on the inside just so you can see what's going on, but normally I would leave that out. All right, so first of all, I've tied my waist on, double knot, and I put my baby into the large panel. I now have 2 shoulder straps, and they'll have both a top and a bottom rail, and I'm gonna tighten them into an X across my back. That'll help distribute that weight. I'm gonna bring them around the front of my baby, and I could either tie off and finish here in front, or I'm petite and I have long straps on this carrier, so I'm gonna actually putting them over baby's first leg, under baby's second leg, and basically end up making an X on baby's butt. Then by spreading out my passes, I can better support that seat. If you have a toddler who's in the midst of this phase and leaning, I can help reduce that because they have a little bit more security across the body. All right, so I like to start my straps on my shoulders. The wrap strap part is sort of hanging over my shoulder, and I'm aiming for like a capped sleeve look. So I'll end up looking a little bit like I'm in a t-shirt. I like to start on one side, hold my baby, and I'm gonna use my opposite hand to reach behind my back. I'm gonna grab this strap and pull it straight down. The reason I wanna pull it down is if I get too busy pulling it over to my side, I often end up bringing that strap right up to my neck. If I can bring that strap back first, I can close up the gap with my baby here, and I keep that strap on my shoulder versus having it creep up on my neck. So I'm gonna pull opposite hand to the opposite side, straight down, and then around to the side. And as I'm doing this, I might push up on my baby's butt a little bit, make sure there's no slack hanging out underneath there. And I'm just gonna bring this over to my side. And you'll notice on this side, it's gonna be the dark blue up. So, make sure though, I've tightened through. So now, if I look right here, pull my top rail, my bottom rail's got a little slack in him, so I'm gonna pull that through too. And I'm gonna hold this here. All right, I'm gonna do the same thing with the opposite side. Pull down and then over. And I like to pull down using that top rail, that first part closest to my neck. Push up on my baby a little bit, pull down. You can kind of see I roll my shoulder a little bit here. Bring my hand through the fabric, and then bring it around my body. And again, my dark blue is my top color here. And if I pull just the bottom here, you can see I kind of found some slack there. And you can see here, so I'm focusing on my top and my bottom. You can focus on your middle. With wrap straps, I don't find I have enough width that I really need to focus on the middle of the strap so much. With a wrap, when I'm actually tying a wrap instead of a wrap strap, then I have a lot more width. So now I have my back nicely spread out. My shoulders nicely capped. My baby doesn't have any slack right here. So now I'm gonna work on spreading these across my front. Now if you remember, this was the first strap I used, so I'm gonna continue using that one. This other strap, I'm just pinning between my knees so it doesn't go anywhere. So I'm gonna go over my baby's bum, and then over that first leg, and then come down underneath the second leg. So basically I'm making part of an X. And I'm choosing to spread this out. I could absolutely do this bunched. That's allowed. What I like about bringing it up like this is I find this more supportive, especially if you have a heavy child, you have a child who's a leaner. All right, so now I've got my strap back here. I'm gonna bring this around. For me, just due to strap length, I can just pin it either in underneath my arm here or down in my knees. Actually, it's kind of my thighs. Okay, so now I have my second strap that I managed to go over, so hold on a sec. See, even those of us who have done this before, we mess up. All right, first strap pinned over here, second strap. Make sure that it's down on my shoulder, and I've got all that slack. You can see that little change right there, yeah. Bring this one, I'm gonna spread this over my baby's butt. Over that first leg, under the second leg. Now I've got two. If you have the ability, if you have enough strap length left, I like to tie off to a side. Just makes it easier when I go to untie to know which one's which. Tie a double knot. All right, so now you can do any fixing you need. If you find any slack, you can just work it with you all the way around, under the baby's legs and over into your back. That way you can knot it off. Make sure everything's lying nice and flat. You want to make sure that your baby has a clear airway. Sally, with the hood tucked in and the way she's tied right now, could use a little adjusting, so I can cinch this and then I can rewrap her.